Okay, this is the red group for Miss Bonaventure's class. First off, I like your line. I think this is a great baseline. It has a nice beat to it. You just need to make sure that everyone should be able to play. When you go back and practice, you can make sure everyone plays it. Now, what I want to suggest, though, and this is just a suggestion, I don't know if y'all heard me last time, but the last time I suggested that maybe you guys try maybe making the E's, I'm sorry, not this E's, but making this particular, I know I asked you to see if you could make this particular measure a little different to switch the lines. So rather than having G, G, F, F, it would be F, F, G, G. And the reason why is because that way the shape of the line is more up, all in a straight line. Now, if you really want to keep the G's to the F's, that's fine. It may create a couple of issues in the future, though, as far as harmony is concerned. Now, another suggestion, if you really like the G to the F's, then may I suggest changing this part rather than keeping it E, maybe go ahead and just make it F's. So it'd be C, C, F, F, G, G, F, F. That might make the things work out more harmonically for you. However, if not, then we can certainly try and work with what you have. But you may find it a little challenging when we move on to the next step. Speaking of the next step, let me go ahead and share with you what I think you should work on next. You have a nice baseline. Now what I want you to do is work on melody. And this is where you go and you come up with something that kind of works with this line. Okay? Some examples. Let's see here. Let's see. Let me go ahead and erase this. Some examples, like you might want to change the rhythm. So rather than playing ta ta, you might want to do ti ti ta, the jingle bell rhythm. And then for the next one, you can still do ti ti ta and maybe just add a ta at the end and the rest. Okay, that's an option. You can also switch the t's around, maybe do ti 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 ta ta. And then you can do ti 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 ta rest. That's an option as well. I hope you see what I'm doing. What I'm doing is trying to get away from the tas, but not too far. I don't mind having a few tas in there. Another one, you could do the traditional ta ta ti ti ta, and then you can do even a bump bump ti. Ta ta ti ti ta, bump bump ti ta. I do suggest that you get a rest in the melody just to give it a nice stop feeling. Now, as far as what notes to play, we're going to talk more about that in the next video. So, but for right now, I want you to, step one, make sure and practice that bass. Change it if you need to. I'll put here edit. I want you to edit if needed. Now, I don't want you to be complacent with that, which means I don't want you to say, well, I really don't feel like changing it. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I really want you to practice it and decide if you really want to stick with that particular line. Again, if you can, that's fine, but it's going to be just a little tricky. You may end up changing your mind later. And of course, you're welcome to change your mind. And the next thing I want you to do is decide on a rhythm for the melody. Okay? For the next line. All right, so that's what your assignment is. Go for it.